Hello and welcome to the St Kilda and Bayside report. This is our bumper Easter edition. I'm Gary Peer.
Bumper Easter edition.
You like that?
This is what happens when we don't follow a script. Although we didn't talk about how we would enter this whole. I don't think that we should bring religion into these shows.
It's not religion, it's just a festival. This doesn't really...
Well, there's a number of other... You didn't do the Ramadan festival for the last time, did you?
I'll start again. Welcome to GPTV. Oh, now I've stuffed it up.
Yes.
Welcome to St Kilda and Bayside report for this wonderful Easter, Ramadan, Passover, festive bumper season. Happy with that?
That's brilliant. I don't think you've alienated anybody there.
There you go. Sorry if I left you out. If you happen to be maybe a Buddhist or Hindu, or I'm not sure.
Maybe we'll just leave it right there and get straight into why people watch this show, Gary.
Hello to everybody. Welcome to this big Grand Prix edition, we could call it if you prefer that.
That's better.
Because we went to the Grand Prix, which is the first time we've done that. So have you ever been to Grand Prix?
I've been to I've been to twice. This was an interesting one because I have, since going to this one, I've watched the series Drive to Survive.
Yep.
So I'm an armchair watcher, and now I think I know a little bit about it.
Yep.
And then I had to translate that to you.
Yeah, well, I want to thank you for your guidance and taking me under your wing and guiding me, because I've got to say that, I don't think I'm dumb. I don't think I'm clever. I don't think I'm dumb. No. I had no idea what was going on. Just sitting there waiting, and then there's the SC car, whatever it is.
Safety car.
The safety car just kept going around.
Flag,
but I got to tell you, I felt very special because everywhere it said "Welcome to GP," so I felt very nice that they personalised it for me. So that was very nice.
I think you came up with a comment of the day, which is something along the lines of, I don't understand why these guys, they're supposed to be the best drivers in the world. All they do is
very good.
They keep crashing.
I know. Because
I've had my licence for years and I haven't crashed once.
I thought the drives were bad down Carlisle Street, but I've got to say they're pretty bad down there.
Imagine that.
Let's just launch into it, talk about what's happening in the world of real estate, because last time we came on, it was early in the year.
Yep.
We weren't quite sure how things were going to pan out. Now, we've just had a weekend. Well, Saturday we were 100%.
Yes,
clearance
12 out of 12.
We had a pretty good Sunday as well. We were cleared up, I think, somewhere like 77 or 78% or thereabouts. So good clearance rates, lack of stock still, big problem for real estate agents and for buyers, but prices seem to be quite solid. What are you feeling?
I'm feeling exactly that, and we're going to circle back to this a little bit later when we talk about some upcoming properties for sale, because the numbers at our inspections have increased significantly over the last sort of 2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
The depth of interest at auctions, the amount of bidders that we're seeing is leaving us in a pretty positive way come Monday morning. But I think what's interesting, and this is, I guess, the balancing act, certainly for us and for the market, are the prices holding because of the lack of stock? Yep. And what happens if we get more stock? Because we want more stock, but it's kind of, if we have more stock, will we have the same amount of sell-through rate?
Is scarcity the vendor's best friend right now?
I think it is.
Could well be. I'm not so sure about it. I think when we get the volume coming through, there's going to be a bit more momentum and a bit more excitement. I think that's going to perhaps even drive prices. But you might be right. I don't know. We don't know the answer. Only time's going to tell. But some of the places that we've got. I mean, we talked, on our sister channel GPTV a couple of weeks ago about the fact apartments were back, because a lot of apartments have been kind of pumping and selling well, particularly the established apartments. We're seeing some big numbers, but some of the properties, I know we're going to review them, but maybe before we actually review the property, just some of the numbers. Well, I just want to talk about a couple of properties because we've got something, and we'll review that sort of list, but something, Dessa Street.
Yeah, in St Kilda.
In St Kilda.
1-1 to 1-2.
Price guide.
Pretty Victorian.
What's going on with the numbers there?
67 groups through, I believe, over Saturday and Sunday this weekend.
Yep.
An amazing architecturally designed townhouse in Elwood in the high ones.
Yeah.
We had 50 odd people through.
I mean, they're numbers that you wouldn't see in any market, really. I mean, that is a...
It's encouraging, Gary.
Well, it's a boom market number. We're not saying it's a boom market, but there are some stuff out there, some certain property types, certain areas, certain price ranges, which just hit the sweet spot of where buyers want to be right now, and that sweet spot really is probably more between 1 and 2 million, depending on what sort of product it is.
Yep.
That tends to be a very strong. I think people are confident to enter into that range, upgrading. They know interest rates have stabilised. Interest rates are at a reasonable commercial level. So it seems to feel to me like that's a very, very hot little pocket, sort of between 1 and 2. Not that things aren't going well, because we had a number of auctions on the weekend north of 2 and even one north of 4.
Some top end stuff that sold on Sunday, which we haven't. Well, that hasn't really come to the market of late.
No, we've been a bit unsure about the prestige in the market, but that's held up well. and in fact very competitive. If you talk about the auction in Aruna Road, we'll have a flash of that.
Yeah.
Certainly not far and very much an iconic type of
An
property.
iconic type of property, you're right.
Yeah, very
you're right.
iconic, very classic period style. Not old period style, but classic mid-century period style. Always a hot product. We've got some...
I'm going to say, Gary, this is... We've been going now for 3 minutes.
Yep.
I reckon this is the most informative and insightful you've ever been.
Is that right?
Yeah.
The part about the Grand Prix or the part about the real estate market?
If we scrap the Grand Prix, but when you started to talk about real estate, it's actually unbelievable how much, just the wealth of knowledge that you have.
Is that right? I think so. Well, very
It's
nice to say.
fascinating.
There you go. Well, I've been around for a while now.
Yeah,
the
that
grey
doesn't,
hair
that
qualifies
doesn't mean
me
anything.
to know something, so that's the good
I reckon
thing.
we might be in line for a bit of a trimmage on the
think so?
eyebrows. The veranda's getting a little bit overgrown there,
It is a
Gary.
little
We
bit.
might have to look at that.
Look, for somebody that's become quite a hairy person himself, I mean, you were always,
It's
very,
still
very,
it's still
very
in place. I think it's in place.
but
Not
you've
really.
got this now, hairy look. I don't know what viewer. I love some viewer feedback
don't
on
need
there.
to get viewer
but
feedback,
I like it. I've said it to you before. I like that kind of little bit more looser hairy, rather than that sort of military short hair kind
Yes.
of soldiery look about you. I like it. You're a bit more kind of
Relaxed,
a bit more,
Gary, relaxed.
a bit more of a sort of a
It's a man of the
60s love
people,
child.
Gary,
A
man
bit
of the
more,
people.
yeah,
Man of the people.
Man of the people. Let's talk about what's coming up.
Well, let's talk
this
about
weekend.
what's sold, Gary.
Yeah, let's do that. This weekend there's no
Because
auctions anyway because
There are
it's,
no auctions
It's
because
Easter.
it's Passover, it's
Easter,
Easter, it's all those things that you said before. But it's a
everything.
nice break so people can reset
Yep.
and launch into the next half of the year.
People always want to know on the show what's been sold, how much
I
are
really
things
think
going
we should
for.
talk about that one, Gary, as I sit here.
That's right.
As I stand here.
How much are things selling for? What's going on out there? Let's just go through some of the properties, flash them up on the screen, talk about what your money buys you in today's real
Well,
estate
let's
market.
start with 307 Orrong Road, Gary, which was a very nice corner block.
It's a hot auction.
It was a hot auction,
Yep.
and we can't actually say what it sold for, but
What was the range?
I think it was 1,750 to 1,950 or something.
And it sold for
like
more
that.
than the range?
I can think that's fairly safe. to
Okay,
say.
there you go. You got a good enough clue.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a good one. What's a buyer going to do with that? What sort of buyer bought it? Do you know?
I don't know, but from what I understand from memory, if
Yes.
that serves me correctly, Gary,
Yes.
that it is going to be refurbed and lived in, not redeveloped.
Okay, fair enough. Because
But what
everyone presumes corner sites will always be redeveloped, but when you've got quality homes and given the the restrictions on actually doing
What you can and
development,
can't do, yeah.
redevelopment,
Yep.
building, sometimes the home and the opportunities are greater than the development opportunity.
This is true, Gary. This is true.
let's
6 at
move on.
38 Scott Street in Elwood. Matthew
Great Scott,
Morley,
that
who-
was popular.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought we could go a whole episode without some sort of childish joke, but evidently not.
No, we got past the first property. That was good.
495 to 540, Gary,
Yeah.
and just goes to show you the depth of interest out there for apartments in Elwood, in fact, across all of the Bayside area.
Yeah.
Sold for 575 there, Gary,
Yeah.
and Matthew Morley did the auction there and did an outstanding job.
He did well done to Matthew Morley. For those that are sort of playing catch up, you would know that Morley's a business that's been around for hundreds of years. I think
Yes,
not
yes.
100, hundreds of years.
Yes.
Has become part of our family and has joined with us. And it's great to have Matthew and also Lucy and a number
the
of
rest of
property
the team,
managers and Lockie, their son. So good to have them in. And Matthew, of course, a real estate identity, a
is.
wonderful operator, great
Yes,
auctioneer too.
And as good as an auctioneer he was that day, I
Yep.
think he was a little bit outshunned by myself, if I don't mind
Oh, is that
saying so,
right?
because I had
You don't
a
mind saying
depth
so.
of interest
I
in
know
multiple bidders at 64 Elmer Road. You're right, I don't mind. That was in
Yeah.
St Kilda there. 580 to 635, pumping auction, Gary,
Yeah.
sold for 660 to a really
Okay.
nice young couple.
Okay, so that was a little over the range. That's good. Matthews was a lot over the range, but let's move on to the next one.
Well, after that auction, I went down to Lindock Avenue, Gary, which is
right.
a beautiful little street off
It
Orrong
is.
Road.
Oh, I
There's a
love that
number of
street.
This is a
Great
really,
homes.
really nice looking
Yeah.
apartment, this one. It's sort of
Yeah.
an older style, clinker brick, sort of charming English style.
Yep.
And we had a couple of bidders there and sold it. We had a range up to 895 and we sold it somewhere toward that end.
Yeah,
if
very
that
good.
makes sense.
Congratulations to buyer and seller of that.
And then I went and did an auction for Daniel Peer.
Good on you.
Well, as I started the auction,
Yep.
he was nowhere to be found because he
No.
was finishing an auction.
Yes, fair
So
enough.
he raced in halfway through the auction.
Yeah, well, you had it under control.
But we
It was-
didn't really need him. In fact, some might say he may have got in the way a little bit
I don't know if you'd like hearing
because
that. but
he's so tall, and
He
if
is
you
tall.
see, and he wears these shoes.
I know.
That he
You know-
looked legitimately like Ronald McDonald.
Do you know how hard it is to get shoes for that young man, that young son of mine? We've got to go
His
overseas
feet
to get
are
them.
like this
I
table.
know, they're flippers. I know they're huge.
They are genuine flippers, and
Yeah.
I made comment of it. And in fact, I made a lot of fun of him at that auction
Yeah,
because he
well,
wore
he would
big
take it.
shoes, and
Yeah.
you know, he
He
took
has to wear big shoes. He's got big feet.
so wear sandals. I don't know, do
Okay.
something else. Anyway, that was the pick of the bunch, Gary.
But tell us about the property.
The property. I should say, I didn't say anything about it.
All you want to do is talk
this is
about
interesting,
Daniel.
Because this is a modern apartment block where we've seen from a trend point of view that they haven't really grown a lot in value since purchasing a lot of these modern style blocks. A lot of this stuff
hasn't gone anywhere, let's face it.
So this was a boutique modern style block, but it sold really well. It had a courtyard out the back, and they actually sold for significantly more than what they paid for it sort of 3 or 4 years ago.
That's which is great.
550 to 6 sold for 630 with sort of 3 or 4 bidders.
Okay, 5% over the top of the range. That can happen. Okay, I've got to say that there's a lot of cynicism and probably not that much of an appetite for some of these apartments that are in buildings that were built 3 to 5 years ago or even 10 years ago. I reckon, watch this space. It's going to change because there is a wave of immigration coming through, as we know.
A million
lot
people,
of young
they're
people
saying, are coming here.
A million people are coming, but also interest rates are going to stabilise and or go down. We know that, and
we don't know
rents are going up. Oh, we do know it.
Anecdotally, that's the story from the people that said there won't be any interest rate rises. So take that.
Well, let's say we feel very very confident for those solicitors watching that might want to nail us to a statement.
Imagine if there were actually solicitors watching.
No solicitors be watching this. They've got better things to do with their life. They're going to go out and sue someone instead. But I've got to say that I believe that this stuff that's sat around a little bit now with rising rents, immigration, and the steadying of interest rates, which we've seen a steadying anyway for sure. I reckon watch that stuff go up because a lot of people are, probably have been a bit despondent about, but I think it's a good future in that stuff.
Should we take a snap opportunity now to just have a very quick insight into the rental market because it is on the move, Gary. I mean, I see every rental that comes through. And we're having price rises, and I don't know whether they're COVID prices or not because they're not all COVID prices, but I'm seeing 10, 15, 20, even 30% increases on rent. Is it like the newspapers and the TV shows would lead you to believe that there is a rental crisis out there?
I think it is. I think it's a late start for Melbourne because Melbourne got smashed around a lot. The COVID rents, rent relief was in place. So someone that was getting $400, dollars a week sort of knocked it back to 350 to help 350 maybe to help the tenant out. I think there was a lot of good, kind generosity from landlords. I think, you hear the bad stories, but you don't hear the good stories. There was a lot. I mean, I look at we're managing some 5,000 properties, and I think our landlords behaved in a very fair and responsible way. They sort of took the heat, took the hit as well, because they've got to pay land tax and they've got compliance requirements. So, but ultimately, it had to turn around. It has turned around. So that was 350. Now, not only has it not gone back up to 4, but it's now gone to 450, in some cases even 500, as there's a shortage of properties. The market has moved significantly. Owners who have got these imposts of land tax and also imposts of all this compliance stuff, which is really, you could debate whether it's over the top or whether it's just good practice and safety. I think that's a discussion you could have. I think it's probably somewhere in between, but certainly the rents have gone up a lot, and there's just not enough housing. And this is a government, government challenge, I suppose. I would say issue, because I don't think they made that issue, but it is a challenge. Maybe
some might argue that the compliance and the taxes might be an issue for some.
So that's what we're seeing now, which leads me even furthermore to think that there's going to be a greater shift of tenants moving towards buyers as they still get that relief, that government grant relief on stamp duty.
Yes.
This is what we're going to see happening, in my opinion. But anyway, let's move on to some other
Perfect
sales.
Segue, Gary. Let's stop talking about sales. Okay. Let's talk about some exciting things that are coming up.
Some offerings,
it's going to be a busy month coming up.
Well, we talked about Odessa, so let's launch into that.
So 24 Odessa, Gary. It's a very pretty home.
Yep.
Fabulous floor plan. It's got all the accommodation that you need. Odessa Street is a fabulous spot off Elmer Road and off Argyle Street. It's close to the action.
Yep.
And it's a pretty home.
Yep.
You've got a pretty home with an attractive price, with good level of accommodation, some work that you can do in there to upgrade it. There's upside there. It should go well.
Yes.
As we said, 67 people inspected that on one weekend.
Wow.
1-1 to 1-2. I think that should go really well, as it should, because it's a beautiful home.
What else you got for us?
74A Spray Street. This is very cool. There should be. I'm hoping there's a little video.
Numbers?
Yeah, they were also big numbers. 57 groups came through on the weekend.
We're streaming.
Not hopefully. We're definitely doing it. The guys who do this video are elite.
They're pros.
They're pros.
Yep. Okay. Tell us
Not
about
all of them, but most of them are.
Tell us about that.
Guy behind the camera, he's a pro. We're not going to mention because he knows who he is. We can't show you his face because he's a videographer. That's not really the point of the show. 17187, Gary. This is a beautiful home. It's a great video, which you can probably see now. This has got 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms in Spray Street. Gorgeous location. Fabulous home. 57 groups. this one is a must to
Now,
inspect.
while we're on Spray Street, I don't want to redirect anyone from this property if you're interested,
No.
because what's the price range on this one?
1.7 to 1.87.
So going up the next price level,
Yep.
significantly higher than that, we've got a brand new property in Spray
We've
Street.
got a number of brand new properties, Gary.
Being sold by our Prestige and off-markets
Yes.
team, I should say.
The new residentials
Exactly
collection
right.
team, Gary.
I should say our off-the-plan team
Yes.
are selling this property, and this is a beauty as well. So if you want to
2A
get something
Spray Street,
magnificent,
Gary.
2A Spray Street.
4 high-end luxury boutique apartments, and hurry because there's only a few left.
That's absolutely right. Speak to Jacob Kingston or Julia Millman about that from our team who sell brand new or off-the-plan properties.
All over Melbourne,
Let's
Gary.
move on.
All over Melbourne.
Lansdowne
63
Road.
Lansdowne Road. You can talk a little bit about this
Lansdowne
one.
Road I can speak about. I think this is a very good opportunity, a very affordable opportunity. This will be presented to the market in an original but good condition. It'll be improved. Some works are being carried out there at the moment to make sure buyers have got a very nice blank canvas to work off. But this is a very spacious town residence in a great spot on the corner of Lansdowne and Marne Street. We're very excited about this. 4 bedroom, 2 bathrooms, nice garden surrounds, plenty of parking. This is one that is just, this is probably the first time we've actually talked about to anyone on the market. You'll see the auction soon sign. Photos haven't been happening yet.
No, that's why we have no...
That's why I have no collateral to show you, but that is a great property, and it's going to be somewhere in that low one, so it'll be a very affordable opportunity.
Don't have a defined price range yet.
Not exactly.
Ink's not even dry on the authority,
Could be 1,
Gary.
1, 1, 2, could be something like that. We're just working with that. Don't quote me on that, but it'll be somewhere in that low one. So that's going to be a good opportunity for lots of accommodation with 1 of 2 only. Really, it's on your own block of land in a great location.
You would think from Odessa Street we would have some buyers looking at that as
I would
well.
hope so, yes.
47 Raglan Street, again, not too dissimilar to the one that you're talking about in Lansdowne Road, where we don't quite have yet all the photos and everything up and running, but that will be one to watch because that's going to have a price range in the high ones.
Tell us about it.
Well, it's a beautiful period home, Gary, that needs a little bit of TLC.
Bedrooms?
Yes, it has bedrooms.
Good, okay.
Yep, it has bedrooms and it has bathrooms,
It's so
Gary.
much better when you've got bedrooms and bathrooms, I find.
It's probably got
Houses,
3 or 4 of them. It's
Okay.
a flexible floor. It's kind of one of those houses that we like to say has got like 10 or 11 principal rooms.
Okay, very
because you
good.
can change it
And
around.
then let people work it out for themselves.
Correct.
Exactly.
Unlike 19 Empress, Gary, where we know
very
what
clear.
19 Empress has. That has 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and off-street parking, and that's 1-1 to 1-2.
That's a great spot.
Empress is a great spot.
Yep.
Beautiful period, one of a pair. This one, it should go very well.
You can be the Empress of St Kilda East. Come and have a look at that wonderful property. Move through and move on.
258 Barclay Street
Yep.
in St Kilda, Gary. This is an absolute no-brainer, ripper, great real estate, bulletproof, can't go wrong. Moments from the beach, Barclay Street, the quiet part of Barclay Street, period home, getting it tidied up, off-street parking via a laneway, so much scope and opportunity, 500 and something square metres of land. You renovate,
Fantastic.
detonate,
Yep.
rebuild, multiple singles, whatever it is.
Bring
this
your
is a
hammer.
great
Bring
opportunity.
your hammer or bulldozer. Is that it?
Thrill me, drill me, save me, pave me.
Ooh, I like that.
I like that one.
Yeah, very good.
We're going to be quoting
Is
2
that
to
something that you use
2.2.
in your single days out there on the circuit or what? Didn't say this was appropriate. Well, we are St Kilda.
And hopefully my wife,
St Kilda,
who,
you know.
well, not hopefully, because I know that she doesn't watch the show.
might have been. She might have told. Might have been a line
She
that
might
you
have been,
won her
that
on.
might have been the one that got her over the line, Gary.
exactly
Pardon
right.
the pun.
Could be.
Very excited about this next one, Gary, because our selling of block of apartments trend continues. And I think
we do
we've
great.
sold in excess of well and truly over 100,
We
Gary.
have now 110. I think we're up to
Do you,
now. Yeah.
would you go as far as to say that for on-market campaigns, nobody in Victoria,
No.
the Eastern Seaboard, the whole of Australia sells more apartment blocks than us?
I would say no one sells more blocks of apartments
No
than us.
one.
I would
No
say it. I don't know it for sure.
No, that's
Could be
okay.
wrong, but I'd still
Never
say
stopped
it.
you from saying
No,
things before, whether
I
you
would
know or
say
don't
it,
know
yeah.
it. With that said, Gary, we've
Yeah.
got a beautiful block coming up in Charnwood Road.
Oh, I love that street too.
So
What
how
a
good's
beautiful
Charnwood Road? That whole
tree-lined
little
avenue.
precinct.
Yeah, wonderful.
St Kilda Hill, they call it, Gary.
Yep,
this
they
is
do.
a very nice kind of older style. It's a big building. And we've got 4 apartments all on one title. There's 1 3-bed, 2-bath, and then there's 3 2-bedders. This is great real estate. This is bulletproof real estate. It's in a great location in Melbourne. Got an income ready to go. And I think it will be keenly sought, and I'm looking forward to that coming on the market.
So there's a nice variety of listings there. We've got some apartments, we've got some houses, we've got some blocks of apartments, we've got some beautiful properties for you, for your buying pleasure and your viewing leisure, if you'd like to come and have a look at it.
We also have some exciting news, which we're not going to bring to this episode, but we should probably bring it to the next episode.
Yes.
Because there's some, I think, a fairly large announcement that we might be making sometime
Some exciting emerging news about some appointments with the company. Is that what you're thinking about?
I think so,
Yeah,
Gary.
well,
We also haven't talked about whether we're going to do that or not, but I think
Yeah.
it might be something that we should look at doing.
Well, stay tuned to next next month's episode or next time's episode on the St Kilda and Bayside report, and it is our pleasure to bring you all the news of what's happening in that pocket and more widely around the real estate world. Thanks for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you next time. I'm Gary Peer.
I'm Jeremy. Hope you have a great long weekend.